My name is Hans Hickler. I've been with the Ashoka Support Network for almost 5 years now. Spent my life in the transportation and logistics business and spent the last 12 years as CEO of several multinationals. And now I advise and coach CEOs and entrepreneurs and early stage companies. The Ashoka Support Network is basically a group of 300 plus CEOs and executives like myself that have committed themselves to helping Ashoka, largely by mentoring and supporting the entrepreneurs, the fellows. But we do a lot more than that. Ashoka has a bunch of streams that people get involved in. So the Ashoka Support Network supports those streams, whether it's Youth Venture, Ashoka University, and some other things. But largely, we're organized to help support these entrepreneurs with any of the business dynamics that they face every day.
Sure, so can you tell us a little bit about a project that you've been involved with?
Oh God, there's been a lot of projects I've been involved with. My biggest one, I started with Ashoka. I would be available to one fellow and spend 2 or 3 hours with them and help them on a particular issue. But over time, there's a few of us in this network that have sort of changed our lives a little bit, and now I spend about 50% of my time working with fellows. The deepest one is a woman by the name of Vera Cordeiro in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. She runs an organization called Sou de Criança, and we developed an advisory board for Vera. And while I was still living in Singapore, Skype calls every month. And then when I moved back and started my own business, I decided that I wanted to spend a lot more time with Ashoka and with Vera. And now I go every 2 months for about a week to help her and her team. And everything from leadership coaching to helping them drive business plans, fundraising plans, meeting with their board of directors, really ingrained with her and her management team. And to the point where I feel part of that business, very vested. And there's a few of us that have made choices like that. And but on the other hand, I deal with some fellows where I'm spending a couple hours a month just helping them through particular issues. So it sort of runs the gamut.
Awesome. So you've been instrumental in creating advisory boards to support social entrepreneurs. Could you tell us what these are and how they work?
Yeah, it started about 3 years ago. We had an event where we introduced a bunch of CEOs, very much like the events we're doing here in Houston, to social entrepreneurship. And part of that event was we put one of the entrepreneurs at a table with a bunch of CEOs and said, for the next 3 hours, this group of CEOs is your forum. Ask them anything you want. Create a thought partnership environment. And that was sort of the nucleus of what became advisory boards. And rather than executives one-on-one creating a relationship with a fellow, we thought there was value if 3, 4, or 5 CEOs could create a thought partnership board, each of the CEOs with a different bit of experience. And that sort of turned into advisory boards. And in Miami, almost all of our engagements with fellows now tend to be in creating an advisory board for them. We found that it's really exponential in the input and the value that the fellows get from that. And so I sit on several of those, and we think it's been really successful.
Great. And what advice would you offer to anyone wishing to get involved with the Ashoka Support Network and social entrepreneurship in general?
Well, first of all, I believe that social entrepreneurs are really the gateway to change, social change. I always tell people I haven't had a smart enough idea to be a social entrepreneur, so I do the second best thing. I'm going to help them. And I think the important thing to understand is us as business people, what we do every day, the little things that we know how to do that we take for granted are hugely valuable to social entrepreneurs. Things like running effective meetings, setting agendas, setting a business plan, raising money, asking for thought partnership on a particular issue, how to leverage a network. These are things that we go to work at 8 in the morning and we do it all day, and it's second nature. And that's a skill that we can lend to these entrepreneurs that is, immeasurable to them. More than writing any check that I could write to them, if I'm really engaged in helping them become better business leaders and being able to multiply their business model to more effect and for more social change. And so, I guess the advice I would give is that every one of us as a business person, can really create impact and be part of being a change maker by helping these fellows.